So I think that I have a few obsessions.
I agree. I think I know a few of them.
You know a few of them?
Yeah.
Name one.
Succulents.
Suffering succotash.
Yeah.
Succulents. I think that you're right in there with me.
I am.
Air
Because they
plants.
require a little water.
Air plants.
By the way, do you know this? That my air plants are blooming. I didn't realize how. Are yours flowering?
Almost.
Mine are flowering, and they're amazing. I had no idea they even did that.
Yeah. So the air plant thing, that's a whole nother. We'll do that next time. That's a whole nother segment because, air plants are amazing, just like succulents. But succulents, this is my new obsession, is taking succulents and making a terrarium out of it. Now, we've done other terrariums before. Terrarium meaning it's a vessel of any kind.
Yeah.
Usually it's glass.
You can see right through it.
You can see through it.
Create a little environment, a microclimate, if you will.
Yeah, and the idea is we're creating something that you can enjoy inside, right?
Yeah. It can be a centerpiece.
It can be a centerpiece. Yeah. It can be, lovely in your family room on, coffee table, whatever. But the idea is you want to have the right kind of plants staged in the way so that they don't become soggy. That's one of the challenges with terrariums.
Because the roots will rot and then you're done.
Well, because there's no drainage hole in a terrarium. It's a solid bowl. So succulents is a whole nother level. Because we've done other kinds of terrariums where it's like ferns.
And you're using the volcanic rock
and using that
wick away the moisture, all that good stuff.
Because it's in soil. It's it's like a shade plant that you would put out in a container in your yard. But now we're asking it to live and be happy in a container that has no drainage. And it usually does okay.
Yeah.
With, not too much water, with just the right amount of light and misting. Now, shifting over to succulent terrariums.
Here's your next level.
Here's the shift. It's very similar, but succulents ask less of you. Now, here's the thing. Because the terrarium, like you said, is its own little microclimate, you're going to water it a little bit, but because there is that glass that's kind of creating almost like a dome effect.
Sure.
It's like it's in its own shower all the time. There's steam that's rising. And so the succulents, they're more of a desert plant.
Right.
So they don't want to be in constant. They like some water, but they don't want to be in mush.
Yeah.
So you're going to water it less, and you're going to create more of an arid and dry environment for the succulent terrarium versus the fern terrarium where it was like all mossy and moist and all that kind of stuff.
And by the way, you guys can't see this, but she's got one on the table between our computers as we're looking straight into this beautiful thing, and it really is glorious.
Well, and we have it on our Facebook page right now. If you go to Facebook.com/Home Wizards, you'll see the latest succulent terrarium. But I thought I would walk you through how you can do it because there's a lot of things on the market right now that you can buy to create as your vessel, so to speak. So this thing that I bought, it's a globe that has a couple of holes kind of on the sides.
And that's like a venting hole for the steam that you were talking about?
And then there's like a front picture window hole to get in to put your plants in and create more air.
Yeah.
And then on top, it has no air, but it has a little hook that ideally...
Almost like a glass eye hook. It's all glass.
You could hang
really
it.
Cool.
But I think that ours is... I would defer to you for some suggestions. When you feel it, it's pretty darn heavy. I don't know how I could hang this thing, but it's pretty heavy. Yeah, it's pretty heavy. I don't know if do you have any suggestions?
Oh, you could, the
big chain?
if they're putting the eye hook made of glass in the glass bowl, it's definitely going to maintain and hold the weight that it has to. So you could use any cord, rope, chain, anything, even an eye hook,
and it won't.
It won't.
Fall?
No,
okay.
I think it'll be fine.
Well, I bought this.
It's really great.
I bought this at a specialty desert cactus succulent place. We love this place. It's in the Los Angeles area. We just are hooked on it. But there's probably a place near you where they specialize in succulents, and they sell these little glass bubbles, but they also have them online.
Yeah.
In fact, it's very, very fashionable now to get miniature little globes. Have you seen them?
I have.
The size of your hand.
They're selling them now in the kiosks in the mall.
Okay.
Have you seen that?
Yes.
Yeah.
And they might have a plant in there, or they might just have nothing. But so get some of those.
Yeah.
Or you could even go like to a Michael's where you could just get a glass bowl, or you could even go to a Petco and get a goldfish bowl.
Yeah, but I love this. Is really
this
cool.
Is very artistic.
Bowl with the eye hook on the top is great looking.
Yeah. So step one is to figure out, what kind of vessel you're going to have, or multiple vessels. You also can use some other kind of, we love hurricane vases.
Yeah.
I mean, anything that's glass that has an air opening will work. And you want it to be clear glass so that the light can go through. Now, for the succulent terrarium, these don't need as much light at all. They need maybe about 2 hours of indirect light.
Okay.
Okay. So there's a little more flexibility. And then the other key is that you want to find tiny succulents, because even the bowl that I've chosen, which is how big around, would you say?
It's probably about 12 inches, about a foot around.
But the little succulents that I chose were the smallest ones I could find. They're like in a little 1-inch little container in the garden center.
Okay, yeah.
And because you want to then put as many as you can in the bowl.
Yeah. I see, and those are so inexpensive too. It's such a great way. I just found one of these glass bowls online, by the way, $13.99 for the same size.
The same one?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
And that's a great deal, and it's so pretty. You're not going to believe it.
Okay, so you could get a big one. Are you buying it right now?
Nope. I'm going to, though.
You're going to get it?
Yeah, they sell them on Amazon, too, by the way.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah.
And what do they call them? Are they called terrarium
hanging
balls?
glass balls and hanging glass terrariums.
Okay. So you can get those little fancy guys, or you can go to the Michael's, you'll see them everywhere, or like you say, the kiosks.
Yeah.
So now how are you going to layer this thing? All right. So now it is all about layering, kind of like, a dessert. But the materials you're going to choose for this are a little bit different than for the shade plant terrarium. And the key is that these guys, because they don't want to be sitting in moisture, the other kind, we wanted them to have enough moisture, but for it to drain.
Sure.
This just needs a whisper of moisture, and then, tons of drainage. So what I did on this is I put sand at the bottom of mine. And there's cactus sand that you can buy. Right? And what happens...
So it's a little thicker grain. It almost looks like kosher salt.
It's not only a little thicker, but these guys don't mind growing in it.
I didn't realize that.
And so you're going to, when you get your succulents, unlike the other terrarium where you have layers with step one of the other kind was we put some kind of rock and then the lava rock to capture all the moisture because of those ferns. You don't want it to be sitting in mush. And then we put potting soil on top of that. And then we put, the plants in, and then we layer decorative things. With this, there's hardly any potting soil at all in it. So what I have here is you could put some pebbles at the very bottom if you wanted. In fact, some places they make them with just those decorative rocks and no sand at all. But I had a hard time keeping the sand from getting on the decorative rock.
Okay.
So what I did was I put about maybe 1.5 inches of this cactus sand in the bottom first. And then I started to take each of my little baby succulents and you shake off some of the soil, the potting soil that you buy it in. Now, you're going to keep a little bit of on its root, so it has some, but then you kind of just find a little hole and you delicately put it in there.
Okay. And now, are you using the big tongs that they sometimes sell? I know they have almost like huge chopsticks to put the plants.
Yeah, you can use a regular chopstick. That's what do you mean by tongs?
Well, I've seen that they have some of these, they're basically huge, like chopsticks on steroids that they use to create these things in a small bottle or area.
Because there's a small opening,
and you can't get your hand in there sometimes, right? Yeah.
For a big guy like you can't get your hand out.
No.
And I even had, because I have large hands, it's like, well, luckily I don't have man hands.
No.
But I mean, it is.
I'm just glad you have hands.
I'm glad I have hands. But you're reaching in there, and as you're going, you start to get angry at yourself because now, you want it to look almost like a feng shui thing, and some of the dirt is getting on places. I don't want it to be, So you definitely want to be very delicate. And so after you've layered the sand in there first, shake off and work in an area like outside with newspaper down. It's going to get messy. Shake off a little and maybe have like a little bowl to capture the soil you're going to shake off.
Okay.
Not all of it, but like half of it.
Gotcha.
And then you're going to, like you say, using a chopstick or something, just press it down and come up with your own little decorative display. You want to have a variety of succulents that are silvers and burgundies.
And I see that you put the tall stuff in the back.
The tall in the
back.
back.
And then you kind of come shorter up
Some
front.
of them will flower. In fact, one of them is going to have a little flower that's going to come out through that little peephole onto the side. All right?
Oh, okay.
So anyway, after you put them all in, then comes the fun part, and they sell all kinds of decorative rocks and glass. I've chosen some recycled glass that's kind of like an aqua clear.
Almost looks like ice crystals.
It looks like ice. And then you just sprinkle that on top, And now you're done. And now you might still have some little soil in areas where you have to clean it up. I used a paintbrush, a very tiny, almost like a makeup brush.
Okay.
And you brush it off. And then the watering, you're going to mist it gently with just a little mist. Now, yes, some of the mist might get on the inside of the bubble of the glass.
So can you wipe the glass down a little bit?
You can wipe it down a little on the inside.
Yeah.
But that's it. And once a week, literally, done.
That's enough.
That's it. Any more, and it's going to be too much.
Sure.
And that's it. So we'll put this up on the website,
and that is something.
And it's on Facebook right now, Facebook.com/Home Wizards. But we love succulent terrariums, and I'm going to make you one. And
if you make me one of those, I don't even know what I'm going to do.
Anyway, we appreciate you hanging out with us as always. Just go to our website where you can hear things and see things and follow us, right? And just enjoy the spaces you call home more. We love hanging out with you, right?
The winter wind, they have come and gone.